Okay, this is 3.6b as in boy, college algebra. We're in example 3, bottom of page 322. And on this one, we're going to take this to a fourth power, which means it's going to be a crazy looking graph. And we're going to say it's less than or equal to 11x cubed plus 4. Okay. So what we're going to do is, first of all, we're going to get everything on one side of the inequality sign. So we're going to write it as 3x to the fourth minus 11x cubed plus 10x minus 4 is less than or equal to 0. Okay, so now we have everything on the left-hand side. And the next step is we're going to make this an equality, so we'll just change that to an equal sign. And remember that what we're looking at is when is y less than or equal to 0. That's what we're looking here, is when is y less than or equal to 0. Okay, so what we're going to do is use our theorems that we learned in lesson 3.4 as far as how to solve this using synthetic division and all of those different rules that we had there. And we find out that our answers are -1, 2 minus the square root of 2, and then again, because it's 2 minus the square root of 2, we know one of our other roots is going to be 2 plus the square root of 2, and our other one is going to be 2 over 3. So we have an interval over here, an interval between here, an interval here, an interval here, and then an interval here. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different intervals. But that's okay. So we start plugging some numbers in and finding out what happens here when we put numbers in those intervals. So we're going to put, let's put the intervals in here. We've got -infinity to -1. -1 to 2 minus square root of 2, 2 minus square root of 2 to 2/3, because we have to put them in order, and this is bigger than 2/3, so we have to put the 2/3 first, and then 2/3 to 2 plus the square root of 2, and then 2 plus the square root of 2 up to infinity. Okay, so those are our 5 intervals here. So when we grab a number somewhere between -infinity and -1 and plug it in, it will spit out a positive answer. When we do the second interval, a number somewhere between there, it gives us a negative. The next one gives us a positive. If we pick like 0, or a number between 2 minus the square root of 2. 2 minus the square root of 2 is actually a little over a half. So we're going to pick a number in this interval somewhere between a half and 2/3. So that gets a little tricky finding one of those, but there are those out there. Then the next one, we're going to find a number somewhere between 2/3 and 2 plus the square root of 2. So you could put in a number like 1, and it'll kick out a minus. And then the final one, we put in any number we want above 2 plus the square root of 2, and we get a plus. So the question up here was, find a y value such that it's less than 0. So when is this less than 0? So here and here. And actually, if we were to graph this, we'd end up with a graph that kind of goes like this. Just a hair above and then like that. Something like that. So we're interested in this interval, okay, where it's below or equal to the x-axis. So my answer is going to be this and this. Okay, and you can just put those two together with a union sign, and everything is good, and you're done.